This week on the Steam Machine podcast, we see if we can run a sardine graveyard.
I'm all out of sorts because you didn't say cue the music. Is that the end? That's the end. Shit.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back. God damn.
Take two.
Take two. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to this week's episode of the Steam Machine podcast. My name is Dalton, and joining me, as always, are my good buddies.
Hey, y'all, it's Nate again.
Grave pun. It's Phil. It's Willie. I don't know. I couldn't come up with a grave pun. I was sitting there thinking, I've got to have a grave pun that goes with my name, but I couldn't come up with anything.
Oh, I mean, it seems like your grave pun was dead in the water.
Hey!
Speaking of dead in the water, you could throw bodies into a river in this game.
Not only could, but it was like one of your quests within the first 30 minutes.
But we will get there. Gentlemen, how are you doing this week, first and foremost? Everybody have a good week this week?
I've had a pretty darn good week, you know? Just unwinding the rest of the work week into Christmas, been playing some games on Twitch and stuff. Recently, it was like Sunday night or Monday morning, depending on how you want to look at it, I was doing some offline speed runs of Predator, as you know I do, and finally hit a major milestone in it, and I am now currently second place in the world in Predator for the NES.
Yeah, boy!
I'm very proud of you, but I have to give you the obligatory nice to meet you, number two.
Who does
That's awesome. That's fucking awesome, dude.
Work for?
Attaboy, you showed that turd who's boss. Dude, I just love that when Tom Arnold comes out, you just hear him, damn boy, the hell'd you eat? Jesus Christ. Oh, I love Austin Powers. Talking about a movie that, like, I feel like could have pulled off a fourth, but didn't, and I almost respect him for it.
I think it's because the third wasn't as good as the first two.
Goldmember's the one I've seen the most, because that's the one I owned on DVD and would go to sleep to. But yeah, I agree that is the weakest of the three.
It's not a good sign for your riotous comedy movie if it literally puts an audience to sleep.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Oh yeah, what can I say? Beyonce just doesn't do it for me.
Aww.
That looks why she's beautiful. But
okay, I was gonna say, that was weird, man.
As an actress, yeah.
Gotcha.
As a musician, yeah.
Yeah, pretty good.
But
good singles. Single ladies.
As a like a person for like the women's movement and stuff, more power to her.
Yeah, she's inspiring and stuff.
That's the word I was looking for, as far as being an inspiration.
That sounded so insincere. She's inspiring and stuff. Like I'm actually meant that, but I sounded so like sarcastic. I'm not being sarcastic.
But what's your new PB? If you said it already, I'm really sorry. But like, and now, like, what is the world record? Like, what do you have to get to?
Okay, so my current time is 16 minutes and 38 seconds. The world record is 16 minutes and 24 seconds. So there's a 14-second gap between mine and world record.
Wow.
But didn't you clear third place by like 12 seconds or 15?
It was 12, yeah. So I beat third place. Current third place was second place by 12 seconds.
Wow. That's major, bro.
So, and I definitely know that there is definitely still more time to be saved. So we will see what happens. Like, I have decided kind of that I was going to semi-retire from it now because, like, that was kind of a major goal with the game. But now it's just like I'm looking at, like, yay, I finally hit my goal. I can finally retire. Or, ooh, there's definitely still some time saves. Maybe. So we'll just have to see where my brain takes me in the next few months if I decide to keep running that. I have started kind of dabbling in another game, but it's not taking yet. So, but that's just because I'm kind of elite in this wood game, so moving to another game was kind of also like, I'm bad again. No.
You just listen to Michael Jackson on repeat. You see, you listen to Bad, and then once you start getting better, you start listening to Beat It. You get there. And then, like, you know, once you decide to choose another game, you listen to Billie Jean because you're cheating on your homeboy.
Yeah.
You mean because that game was not the one?
Ooh.
And that cartridge is not my ROM.
That was good. I didn't know where that joke was going, but I'm pleased with it.
Me neither, but I'm glad that I figured it out as I was saying it. Oh, man. What else? Oh, gentlemen. So I've been dabbling in Red Dead 2 specifically because, you know, after my frustrations with Skyrim and trying to mod that, and like I said, I'm going to wait a while on that. So I'm playing Red Dead Online and I'm riding along, and I just like to go hunting and fishing. I'm sorry. In single player, I like to go hunting and fishing. Online, I like to just kind of hunt. I haven't unlocked fishing yet. So another player comes along, and I have had 0 issues so far. Everyone I've run into has been super nice, and no one's really fucked with me. So this dude comes riding along with me, and we're just kind of riding along the trail, and he waves to me, so I wave back to him, and he rides a little ahead of me. So I'm like, oh, okay, maybe he's trying to take me somewhere. And then he pulls his lasso out. And I was like, oh, he's trying to take me somewhere. and he throws his lasso, and he lassos me and yanks me off my horse. Now, what he didn't realize is that I'm pretty fucking good at getting headshots in this game. And so as soon as he gets off his horse, he starts walking towards me. You do the thing to get the rope from Alpha U, and I stood up, and in one fell swoop, I stood up, drew my revolver, boom, shot him right between the eyes, looted him, rode off into the sunset like a fucking cowboy. And I was like, that's what you get for griefing me, motherfucker.
Cowboy problems demand cowboy solutions.
Yeah, I've seen so much stuff about Red Dead Online on TikTok. For some reason, it gives me a lot of videos on it. And like my favorite ones are the ones where people are kind of just being basically the sheriffs of Red Dead Online, where like they'll see some people griefing a new player, and like they're like really good at the game, and they just kill both the people griefing the newbie. And then kind of what's my favorite one is apparently there's a problem in Red Dead Online where people will dress all in white, which is...
Ooh.
Yeah, which you can kind of guess what that means, especially when they have the pointy hoods to go with it. But there's a bunch of people that have like started these gangs online of like, if it's all white, it's on site, and they just instantly shoot anybody wearing all white in the game.
Damn.
Nice.
And I love that stuff. It's like, yep, get them.
My character's name's Jack Nile, and he's got like a scar on his eye. He's got some mutton chops, ponytail, but he wears like he is like Stephen King gunslinger, like all black. You know what I'm saying? Just like ready to go. And I might write what's the word I'm looking for? Like a concept outlaw country album based and make him the main character, because like when I look at him and his name, like I said, his name's Jack Nile, I can just picture in my head like a little telling the story about old Jack Nile. You know, that kind of thing.
I thought you were going more along the lines of like Willie Nelson's Red-Headed Stranger album.
Yeah.
I mean, we could do that too. I love some Willie now.
Thanks, man. Yeah, me too.
See, I'm glad that you went with that and not a dick joke.
I feel like I'm on thin ice if I make dick jokes every time I hear my own name.
That's
Thin ice brand.
Hey!
It all comes back together.
Now it comes back to me.
Over me, dun dun doo doo. So we played the new Phasmo update last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
So that was a really fun experience. Like we had some people that everybody should be familiar with by now. It was me, Willie, Dalton, and the original Expendable enthusiast Jeff.
Yeah, and we were doing some ghost hunting. The new update added the cursed possessions and stuff, and we finally got to fuck around with those some.
It's awesome. It's kind of expanded on the concept that the Ouija board was in the previous versions, but now there's more than there's 6 different ones, and each of them has their own risks and rewards.
Yeah, and we learned the risks and rewards of one of them.
Hey, you guys are real good with summoning
The
circles.
summoning circle's so much fun, dude. So the concept of the summoning circle is it's like a pentagram on the ground that has like a candle on each of the points of the pentagram. So if you light all the because you can get a lighter in the game, if you light all 5 points of this pentagram, the ghost actually physically manifests inside the middle of the pentagram.
Which is nice for me because I'm usually the cameraman. So like, it's good for me to be like, snap, and I get a really good photo of the ghost. But
it also pisses it off and it immediately starts hunting whoever did it or whoever's nearest to that. And it's not the same room as the usual haunt room. That's the other thing. It'll yank the ghost halfway across the map to show itself. And it looks really cool when it happens.
yeah, it does look fucking really awesome.
The first time we found this, I was like, hey, Dalton, you need to get a picture of the ghost. So why don't we head up there? Because it was like upstairs while the ghost was downstairs. Why don't we go up there and get this thing lit so you can get a picture of the ghost? And this was our first time messing with it, so we didn't know like how it was going to exactly respond to it. So like I just go around, start towards the staircase, light the first candle, then I start going around the circle, not thinking about my position when I was going to be done lighting it. So I lit all of the points of the pentagram, and then I'm like, kind of like standing against the wall, like in a corner, so there's like nowhere for me to go. And all of a sudden, the ghost pops up in the middle with a puff of smoke and just looks like all freaky and scary and stuff. And after like a second, the pentagram like loses its hold on the spirit, and the spirit's free to wander. Well, it just starts wandering straight towards me, and I'm like cackling like a maniac because it's like hilarious and scary and awesome. And I'm dead like instantly.
And from my perspective, I'm standing like right at the stairs with my camera crouched down, ready to get a good picture. And the ghost manifests, and I snap the picture, and I turn around to run, and I hear Nate go, "Oh, damn it. Ha 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 ha." And I hear this maniacal laugh, and then I just hear the thud of his flashlight hitting the ground, and then that of being killed. And I went, "Oh, son of a bitch." Nate's dead. And yeah, when he come to, he was like, "Oh yeah, I totally boxed myself in." So the next
Not
time...
many people could say their last words were just Joker laughter, so good work on that.
There's something so hilarious about that whole situation to me.
The second time we used it, we planned better, and it went better. We were like, all right.
We still lost one of us.
We did still lose one of us. I think it either got... Was it you, Willie, that I got?
Me.
Yeah. Although...
I came in... I shouldn't have come in. I just wanted to see it, so that's on me, really.
Yeah.
Hey, but it was worth it. It was worth it.
It was cool, yeah. I'm glad I saw it.
Because I lit the candles and Dalton was taking a picture and Willie just wanted to witness it. And the ghost was like, "We're killing that guy."
Yeah, Willie walked in there like, "Witness me." And she's like, "Okay."
You guys had reasons to be there. I was just being a ghost pervert.
The voyeur.
I think...
Ghost voyeur.
Yeah, right? I like to watch.
Like every time, there were a few different times that I couldn't help but laugh my ass off when Jeff died.
Oh, God, Jeff has the best deaths. I love it so much.
He will just shout, "Ah, it's coming right from..." And then he just cuts out the shit.
I don't know if it's something he does or what, but he seems to get the most targeted, too.
Oh, dude, yeah, all those Onryos last night just kept killing Jeff.
We had a run where we had like 6 games in a row where the ghost was an Onryo, and every single time it like got Jeff like 6 times. Then we got another one, like, okay, it's the same evidence, and Jeff's gonna live, hooray! Guess what? That was our first encounter with the Mimic, which can mimic another evidence piece. So unfortunately, it was an Onryo, and Jeff never survived one of those.
Yeah, the funny thing about the Mimic, too, because that was also added in this update, was apparently it has like 4 qualifiers, and one is always going to be orbs. So it's like, we'd always get 3 pieces of evidence because that's what you usually get for your ghost and you're ready and good to go. But this Mimic is really throwing a wrench into that because now if you have orbs, you gotta wonder, is this actually the ghost we think it is, or are we just getting orbs and it's a Mimic?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, so you if you see orbs, you're like, all right, cool, but now we have to see if we find 2 other things or 3 other things, and yeah, that's going to be interesting, especially on the harder difficulties.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because especially like on Nightmare, it already doesn't give you one of the pieces of evidence, right? So I'm imagining that like that's going to be a really tough nut to crack.
Well, actually, on Nightmare, if you get 3 pieces of evidence, then it's a Mimic because they always give the orbs.
True.
So that could be a giveaway for that one. We haven't fucked around with Nightmare much though yet.
No.
Not yet. We'll get there.
Yeah, we did it like once for a laugh, but
one thing I was impressed by this update too is because like they're doing like a Christmas theme. It's not like how they did a Halloween theme, everything on the first one. They added a Christmas theme to this one, and during some of the ghost hunts, instead of like your typical ghost sounds, you'll hear like a jingle bell. But for some reason, it works. It still gives that.
Oh, it's so creepy.
Yeah, like I don't understand why, but it's just as creepy as your typical "hey" ghost sound or whatever.
What they need to do is they need to patch in Goldberg as Santa from Santa's Sleigh.
Yeah.
And make him one of the killer things. Oh my God. Speaking of, so we had one house. And I don't remember, I think it was one of the townhouses, but do you guys remember? I was freaking the fuck out about the way one of these bitches looked. One of these ghosts looked like Baraka.
Yeah.
Like the mouth looked like Baraka, and she kept getting right in my face. Like if I was in VR, I would have shit myself.
Yeah, that was at the prison.
Was it the prison?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. She kept like walking. She walked right up to me and like didn't kill me. She just stood there in my face like, I'm not John Cena, motherfucker. You can see me. And I was in fear, so I turn and I go like and run, and the event stops or whatever. So they're like, all right, so they're definitely in here. She kills one of the other guys. I think it was Jeff that died first in there.
Always.
And we're like, okay, so we need to figure some stuff out. So I go back to the van to go get some more items, and she's like right there so there's metal detectors, and then there's the door out, and she's right on the front of the metal detectors, just floating in midair, just twitching unnaturally in her full ghost form. Like I walked up to her again, got like face to face with her, and she's just sitting there floating until I walked through the metal detector and she disappeared. And I'm just like, I really don't even want to come back in. I think she's coming after me, but I did. I was the one that survived that round.
That was the worst ghost, man. That one was a pain.
Yeah, because other than showing up to me, she didn't really show up much at all.
No.
But she was really good at giving EMF, really good at doing, I think, temperature. But like the orbs and dots was what we needed, and just no cooperation on those. Like Nate figured out in the end that he could like reorganize the dots in the camera to get a better view of things, and it worked out posthumously.
No. I'm sorry. Nate is the one that lived that one. Now that I'm thinking about it, because he moved those and he told me to watch the dots. But then I ran into the room and just ran straight into her, so she killed me.
I think the ghost was after me at that point, but Dalton didn't know what the ghost was doing and walked directly into it. And after that happened, I was like,
"Get down, Mr. President!"
And once that happened, I just ran out the door to the van and just started watching the camera. And luckily, my movement of the dots projectors made them show up on it.
Yeah, it was a fucking blast, and I look forward to trying it out more because there's still cursed possessions we haven't even come across. You know, there's
we hit the tarot card once, but we didn't know what it was or how to use it. So I like took a screenshot of it, and then Dalton looked it up afterwards or whatever.
Yeah, so I think the only ones we've actually been able to use so far are the voodoo doll and the summoning circle.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say we used the voodoo doll. We figured out how to die with the voodoo doll.
No, dude, I swear by that. I stopped that hunt one time. I think because it was going after you, and I pushed the pin, and it pissed it off and made it come towards me, and then the hunt ended or something. I don't know. But yeah, they get worried when I get the voodoo doll because I'm not afraid to just mash my R button until all the pins are pushed in and be like, let's see what happens. But it'd be cool to like actually, you know, figure out, okay, you push a pin in, maybe it makes the ghost do something and we can try to trigger it that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's different ways to go about it. And then like the music box, we haven't found that yet. I'm interested to see how that works.
The music box or the cursed mirror. And I don't think we've seen the Ouija board yet since it became a part of the grouping.
But the big thing with the Ouija board now is you have to tell it goodbye when you're done with it.
Right, that's right.
If you don't, apparently that ghost will hunt and come straight for you. So
yeah, the text in the patch just said, make sure you say goodbye, ... or else.
Yeah, don't be rude to the ghost. Come on.
Which I would like to test. So I will totally, if we find a Ouija board, I will totally go up to it, tell it to suck nuts, and then walk away without saying goodbye and see what happens. I'm cool with that. But yeah, I look forward to playing some more. Maybe we can hash out maybe a little bit this week or something.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Since this week is going to be a bye week, and that is a beautiful segue into that next week we are going to release our year in review episode. Since it's coming up on the end, I figured it's the holidays this week. Let's just take kind of a break where next week we can just kind of talk about the show in general and how we've had this year. I don't really have a ton planned for it other than I'm going to do some giveaways. We're going to have some giveaways. So if you will, good listeners, send us an email to thesteammachinepodcast@gmail.com and tell us, your favorite memories from the year. Maybe favorite episodes, favorite story, favorite moments, least favorite episodes, maybe.
Yes, please roast us too if you're at it. Tell them I have a dumb voice. I sound like a nerd.
Yeah, if you want to make fun of the episodes where it's just me and I'm really struggling, please do. Like, it doesn't bug me at all. And
Anthony ruined the podcast.
Yeah, if you want to shit all over that Hollow Knight episode,
yeah, it's terrible.
That's just send us an email, and that will get you entered into a contest. I'm going to let Steamy. I'm going to put all your names into like a little thing to have Steamy randomize, and a winner picked at random will get a Steam copy of Just Cause 3. And
that seems so fun, man. I have half a mind to steal that code from you.
As a bonus, the codes that Ares had given to me, Eraser Adam, he had given me codes for the Neptunia Rebirth 1, 2, and 3 games, and I haven't been able to figure out a way to give those out. So on top of the Just Cause 3 giveaway, in your email, because I think it'll make for fun, hilarious content, because I'm also going to hash this out with the boys and we'll talk about it amongst ourselves as well. I want to know, what do you think we would be as a JRPG party? Like, or an RPG party, but I'm going to lean towards JRPG since Neptune's JRPG. So how would we be? Like, in a JRPG, how would we be as the characters? And if you want to include some of our show guests, like if you want to include James, you want to include Jeff, by all means. If you want to include Ryan, fuck yeah, I'll send him over to him and let him know what y'all said. It'll be fun. I think it'll be a fun. And if you do that, that'll enter you into the second giveaway where you can win the original Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth trilogy.
Get creative with it too. Like, I mean, you could pick specific characters, you could pick archetypes, you could pick character classes. Like, if you want to make us a D&D party or whatever, be like, he's a chaotic evil barbarian for sure.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do with it. Like, yeah, I'm really interested in this one.
I would like them to be at least like semi-descriptive, like.
Oh yeah, don't just say you are a fighter.
Yeah. Like rogue fighter paladin, fuck, marry, kill, like anything like that. You know what I mean? So it's like, but yeah, if you could be like for instance, if you're like, okay, so I could see Nate as a guy with a big sword who swings and does the things, but like outside of the battles, he's very jolly, and he might be the one with the cooking skill, or yada yada. Like, just as an example, like that would be what I'm going for. I want to know like how we would be if we were characters in your JRPG game.
I think we all know Dalton's the one with the cooking skill.
Well, I was just an example. But I think it'll be a good fun. That's going to be next week, and then to start the new year, we're going to be playing some motherfucking Borderlands Game of the Year edition, and I look forward to that because that's going to be some co-op fun and goodness. And I do want to tell you guys, Borderlands does not play necessarily like a normal shooter. And what I mean by that is it is more RPG than shooter when it comes to doing damage. Your enemies have HP, and your guns do like damage like based on their level and stuff like that. So like you could shoot them in the head and that'll add for more crits and stuff, but you can't just like pop somebody 2 times in the head and they drop dead. If they've got 80,000 health, then we're all gonna have to sit there and pump bullets into them until we do 80,000 damage type thing.
How does that compare to like Fallout?
Similar.
Okay.
Similar.
I had mixed feelings about that, but if you bring the Fallout comparison, I could see it being pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. It's also just, it's very zany and fun, and there's like guns galore to find. It's going to be a good time.
I've seen some clips of the game's sense of humor, and it definitely has hits and misses, so I'm looking forward to both getting some good laughs and going like, oh, that sucks.
Oh yeah, there's some of those too for sure.
I mean, I'm in baseball, I'm a big fan of the 2 true outcomes type of player. You either hit home runs or strike out. You're Adam Dunn's and guys like that. It's great.
That was me in Rookie League.
Hell yeah.
I was either cracking it out of the park or I was just gonna foul out. That was just how it happened.
That's that good shit. I love it. I love it. So swing hard. Swing hard. I always respect those who swing hard.
Swing hard and swing low, sweet chariot. Is there anything else you guys like to touch on before we get into the game of the week?
Each other.
Ooh. I mean, that might bring up some weird legal repercussions for you two, but like...
I'm out of this. I'll sit this one out. You guys have fun.
Bring the camera.
Nate will set the camera up and leave. It's just, there you go. Have fun.
I'll set up the camera and the dots projector so y'all can have some fun.
I was going to say to watch for orbs. I'm glad we were in the same place on that one.
Yeah, I'm not watching that camera.
Was
I got some orbs I want to show you.
Was that ectoplasm that just shot across the camera? What the fuck was that? Oh my god. All right. Anyway, Graveyard Keeper was our game this week. And time for some O-dubs. Some obligatory Wikipedia bullshit. It says here, Graveyard Keeper is a graveyard-themed, who would have thought, management simulation video game developed by independent Russian indie game studio Lazy Bear Games and was published by Tiny Build. Now, Tiny Build you may have heard of on this show because they did No Time to Explain. Which was part of one of our lesser listened to episodes with 3 short games.
I liked that one.
And
I can say that because I wasn't on it.
No Time to Explain was fun until me and Ryan both hit this one boss, the shark boss, that was just like, what the fuck? How is this beatable? But Tiny Build has published a lot of shit. They published Pathologic 2. They published Secret Neighbor. Hello Neighbor. Like all these games that I've heard come up over the year. Punch Club, Party Hard. Like this, so they're a pretty well-known publisher.
So I'm kind of imagining a Devolver Digital-esque people that are talent hunting for indie devs, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Walmart, Devolver Digital. Yeah, for sure. And that's no knock on them. That's just they're smaller than Devolver Digital for sure.
Many of us are.
So Graveyard Keeper's alpha version was released for Microsoft Windows in May of 2018, followed by the regular release for Windows and Xbox One later in that same year. The Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4 versions were released on June 27th, 2019, and it was released in Japan February 6, 2020. I wonder how this game did in Japan.
I feel like it could find an audience there if the humor translates.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Is like, I wonder if the humor if they had to change any of the religious things. But I guess there's a lot of like Christian-esque Catholic type stuff in Japan as well. So
also, you telling me it's Russian suddenly makes a few more things make sense in this game, to be honest.
Like the donkey.
I do love the donkey. God, we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. As far as gameplay goes, this game was inspired by Stardew Valley and based on Harvest Moon. Who would have guessed that?
Yeah, you can definitely feel that influence throughout the thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And we'll talk about the gameplay and stuff in a second. But as far as the story goes, you are a person who gets hit by a car and awakes to find yourself in an unfamiliar world with medieval fantasy setting, where you are tasked with taking care of the local cemetery and determined to return home and reunite with your lover. The Graveyard Keeper interacts with the locals. The Graveyard Keeper interacts with the locals while helping with their problems. Eventually, you learn of a portal that can be used to get back home, but you need some special magic to make it work, in which of the possessions of some village's most influential characters. And then yada, 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 you earn the trust of them. You end up making your way home, I do believe. Although I don't know. I didn't beat this game. Full disclosure, none of us beat this game. I don't think this game's beatable in a week, if I'm going to be honest, but also, it doesn't warrant more than this week.
Fullest disclosure.
Right, it was cool.
Even fuller disclosure.
It was cool.
I haven't played this game in 2 months.
Yeah, at random, and this is completely unrelated to the podcast, but Nate just got this game and streamed it, I think, for a Halloween-related thing.
I just did it for Halloween, played it for a few hours, and that's about all I've ever played it.
Yeah.
I will say that your stream made me want to play the game, so I'm glad we did get it on the show.
One other thing, real quick, before I close the Wikipedia, I really am tickled by the name of the DLCs for this game.
They're good.
Yes.
They're good.
The first DLC was free for everyone. It was called Breaking Dead, right? And then they released 2 paid DLCs. The first of which was called Stranger Sins, and the second of which was called Game of Crone, which love it, just absolutely love it. But yeah, so as far as the game goes, man, like, first and foremost, this game is beautiful. Like,
yeah, it has this lovely 16-bit pixel art aesthetic that really works out well. There's a lot of like post-processing effects where like the wind is like shaking trees and the sunset changes the palette of everything, and it looks really damn nice.
Yeah, I think the best definition for the game's appearance is just overall charming. Like, it does like kind of like spooky vibes versions of what you'd expect from something like Stardew Valley, and I just think it executes very well.
Yeah, art is easily a high point to me, for sure.
Yeah, I my whole thought playing this was, dude, I want more RPGs that look like this.
Right?
You know what I mean? Like, I know that obviously we have the capability to do it. Like with that new Dragon Quest 3 remaster thing, like 2D has such a pristine opportunity to look really fucking good. And then you add pixels, like, and people have only gotten better with pixels over the years, you know, and so just seeing them so refined and pretty, and like you said, like the little things like the trees blowing in the wind, or like the hay that would just sway, the hay sway.
There is one game that has done that pretty well recently, and that was if you played Dragon Quest XI in 2D mode.
Yeah. I was just thinking that when you said Dragon Quest, that's where I thought you were going with that.
Because Dragon Quest XI is obviously a very new game that added the 2D mode to it, and it also looks fantastic. Like, I would love to see more like retro-styled pixel games like this, but I'm also 35 years old, so take that for what you will.
The thing about retro games, like retro-styled games in the modern era too, like you said, the technologies come forward a lot, but also like in the 8 and 16-bit era, pixel art was really a thing of necessity. Now it's a genre of art in its own right. Like, people become pixel artists not because of limitations that were forced on them by technology, but because they love what pixel art looks like, makes them feel, and what it reminds them of. So, like, I feel like the artists today that specialize in it are better than ever. Like, the actual art has improved, even though it's similar technologies and styles to what they had in the past.
Yeah, it's just a passion thing at this point. Like, it's a project of passion for people, and I really appreciate when I see good pixel art these days.
Passion is exactly the word I wanted. Thank you.
And there's going to be quite a few games that'll come up eventually. I don't know if they'll ever get voted for, but that I have in my library that are made in like RPG Maker. You know what I mean? And those aren't like the crispest, but like sometimes there are some really good, like hidden, to quote Metal Jesus, hidden gems for these RPG Maker games, because it's like people are using like what they have to make the game, but their story that they have to tell is fucking tremendous. You know? Yeah,
I'll never knock someone for the tool they use. Like, there's been a lot of really cool stuff done in RPG Maker and in like old versions of Game Maker Studio that weren't really refined. Click and play, you know, simpler program. Like, not every game has to be made in an engine from scratch in C and assembler and all that. Like, using these existing technologies and making new games is really neat too.
Yeah, like my buddy Tom, Codapill, you know, he does his stuff in RPG Maker, and they're fucking tremendous.
Right. You know, and it's silly to think that you need
to
develop your own engine for every single video game. I mean, like, that's just silly. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, again, that goes back to, like, I can understand back in the day when it was a necessity. If you wanted to do something, you build an engine. But there are so many engines available now that...
Yeah, like, for 3D games especially, like, Unreal and Unity are right there. And if you're going to roll your own, you have to have an amazing budget to be wanting to compete with the flexibility and usability that those have.
Like, there's so many games that I've played that were just made in the Unreal Engine that feel nothing alike. Like, it's not like it's a huge limitation to use a pre-made engine these days. Like, these engines are powerful and good.
Yeah. You know, an interesting dynamic between two that I've seen lately is because, you know, I like the skateboarding games. So I have the two that are supposed to be like the predecessor, or I'm sorry, not not sequels,
successor.
But like the, is it predecessor?
No, successor.
Successor, thank you. The two successors to Skate series. One's called Session and the other's called Skater XL. Session is made in Unreal and Skater XL is made in Unity. And it's just interesting to see the differences in the two, because there are major differences in the two. And then EA came out and announced that they're going to do Skate 4. So now, like, I don't know what's going to happen with those games, if they're going to get buried underneath Skate 4 when it comes out. But Session is still very much like early stages, and it's much more, I don't want to use the word janky, but I mean, it's janky. You know what I mean?
I feel like a proper successor to Skate should have a little bit of wackiness, especially in the physics part of the game. Like, one of the things I love about Skate is the fact that it has to account for so much and calculate so much with its ragdoll physics and stuff that it does some ridiculous things at times.
Oh yeah, like throw you into the air way higher than you need to go. That's more along.
Just got hit by a giant in Skyrim.
That's more along the lines of Skater XL, where Session is more like Skateboard Simulator.
Okay.
Right. But the thing with both of them is Session has a quote unquote legacy style control scheme where it plays like Skate, right? But Skater XL, which I like Skater XL better, you have to turn with your left and right triggers because your right stick controls your back foot and your left stick controls your front foot. So when you ollie, you got to hold your back foot down and then pop it, but then you have to take your left stick and throw it to the left so you'll kick flip or whatever. So it's very much a much more intricate controller input, but bro, fucking satisfying. I took some clips last night. Whew, I got to figure out how to share them. I was proud of this line I did. Anyway, I'm just skateboard nerding.
Brief moments, and that was really fun. To bring it back to our game, what do you think that Graveyard Keeper was made in?
Probably.
I'm gonna guess Unreal.
I'll guess Unity.
It's Unity 5.
Unity.
I haven't seen a lot of 2D games.
That's a good point. I have, because correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Bloodstained Ritual of the Night was made in Unreal.
You're probably right, because it's a 3D graphical game with 2D style.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
It's 2.5D, I think is what they like to call it.
I haven't heard that word used in that way in a long time, but that is what we used to call it, yeah. Like mischief makers and games like that.
I'm old, guys, sorry.
We're bringing back N64 era terms, don't mind us. Which is suitable, because we're playing a game that has a very 16-bit aesthetic. Yeah. Like, it looks like if you had a Super Nintendo that could do anything, it would make this.
Moving forward with that, like, with the graphics, I thought was very satisfying. I also think they did a good job with sound design. I felt like it was very ambient. It wasn't overbearing, but it set a mood perfectly for whatever you were doing in the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like there were some weirdly ambitious moments, too. Like, some NPCs have their own theme music and you're not expecting it. Like the merchant.
Yeah. Oh my god, that merchant. Did you guys scare him?
I did, yes.
Yeah, me too.
I think you did too, Nate. Because he had the hiccups.
Yeah, the hiccups. And I thought he was drunk, which is just, I always assume when someone has the hiccups, like they're probably, not in real life, but like in a game, like when they hiccup and there's like the bubble that comes up. It's like, oh yeah, they got the suds. Like old Dumbo. I want to say, like, one of the little marketing things for this game was hilarious to me. It's Graveyard Keeper, the most inaccurate medieval cemetery management sim of the year.
Nice.
And it's a game of capitalism and doing whatever it takes to build a thriving business. Even if that means cutting some flesh out of a body and selling it to people to eat.
Yep.
Which is one of the things you can do in this game to make money.
Although you should probably fashion it into a hamburger first. That's worth a lot of money.
Yeah, that's true. So this game's got like a basic gameplay loop. You go out, you try to work on your graveyard, or maybe you do some farming in your farm, growing carrots for the fucking communist donkey.
Yes!
Which
I just got to that point and it made me so happy.
Oh, so when you wake up, you meet a skull. I think his name's Jerry. Yeah. And he doesn't cuss, but he says "sard" a lot. And I think that is his version of shit, fuck, or any of the like.
It's basically Smurf to him. He uses it for everything.
That's a good way of putting it. And so the loop is basically just do things till your guys gets tired, then you go to sleep, and rinse and repeat. If you've played Stardew Valley, if you've played Animal Crossing, if you've played like any of these types of games, it's the same type of style. But this one just has a, dare I say, a gothic aesthetic to it that appeals to me in a way.
Yeah, it's and Gothic, not in the sense that everything is really dark and melancholy. It's actually kind of like, it uses the morbid and macabre elements for humor more than anything else a lot of the time.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so let's get into it. Yeah, like a good example is the donkey that brings you dead bodies. You can understand it, and it's like, whoa, you can hear me talk? Well, let me tell you how much I fucking hate capitalism.
Yes.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah, later on in the game, he actually, once you've repaired the church. He's like, wow, you own a lot of property. That means you're a capitalist too. I'm going on strike. And from that point on, he won't make any deliveries unless you feed him up front.
Yeah.
Good for him. Donkey worker rights.
You have to grow carrots and then go and fill the bucket of carrots. And he wants 5 carrots per body, I think it was. 4 or 5. And
he said 5 to me.
Was it 5? Okay. And yeah, that can get to where it's like, oh shit, well I guess it's going to be a day or two before I get a body because my carrots are not grown yet.
Dude, the thing is with the early part of the game, like I was getting more bodies than I knew what to do with.
Yeah, same. So I'm kind of happy that I have the option to freeze it now.
Yeah, I think that would have because like I remember that part stressing me out. I was like, oh god, I'm trying to go do something now, but here's another body. I need to take care of this first. And it ended up being stressful for me, honestly.
Because it does kind of stop everything you're doing, since you have to. There's a health meter on the body, and you'll lose potential virtues and sins. I think if it takes too long to bury it.
Yeah, which the autopsy I want to get into in a second because that was a whole other fucking thing. But like, one of the first things I repaired by accident was the body chute. Like where the donkey drops the body off. Like all of a sudden, I like went up to that thing and I was like, oh, what is this? And I fixed it, and it was like just like this thing. I'm like, oh, so I went down in there and I realized the other side of it needed to be fixed. I was like, shit. So I went,
the same thing.
Had to farm the stuff up and whatever, and then fixed that. But then what I liked though is when you're walking by the morgue, it would put a little thing up in the top right corner to tell you if you had a body in there or not.
Yeah.
So it's like, I would look there and be like, oh, he dropped the body off. Okay. So that's when you make your way down in there and get it. And hopefully you got it before it decayed too much. But that's when the autopsy starts. And this is where I had to look it up. I butchered so many fucking bodies that I had to look up how to like it works, right? So you want to remove the blood and the fat. That's 2 red skulls or sins removed immediately.
Oh, that takes sins away?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
So then I think it's you don't want to take the skin off. I don't think you want to. There was like 3 of them that give you a random. So like, I think it was the skull, the guts, and one other piece. I'm not really sure.
So you're telling me if I go get a liposuction, it will suck my sins away?
Yeah, lipo for Jesus.
If we did episode subtitles, man.
A graveyard keeper. Life. Oh, Jesus. Okay. I done lost where I was. Oh, so the 3 ones, they can give you random. So they can either add 2 white skulls, take away 2 red skulls, or add 2 red skulls. So you're kind of gambling. But once you improve your surgical stuff and you don't make mistakes and take up those spots, say you take out something and it puts in 2 red skulls, you could put that back in and it will take those back away.
Okay.
So I
did not figure that mechanic out at all yet.
There were times that I was able to get all the red skulls gone. And then I was like, nice. Yeah, perfect body. And then took it over to the graveyard, tossed it on the ground, dug a hole, tossed it in there. And then I tell you what took me a long time was figuring out how to make the headstones. Yeah,
because you have to have several things going before you can craft crosses or gravestones.
Yeah, and it's, dude, a good like 3 hours of me playing this game before I realized that there were multiple blueprint tables, and they did different things, which I don't know how I feel about that. I would have liked maybe one blueprint table and then it zoom out and you can kind of work with your whole area, but that's just. But I do
like that you're crafting where you need it instead of seeing trunk and then being like, oh, the trunk goes in a completely different area or whatever.
Yeah. Now, Nate, do you remember how far you got in stream?
It wasn't too terribly far. Like, I remember some of the later things I did was I found like that area, like a Witch Hill or whatever it was, and went up there and
you did see the burning.
I saw the burning of Witch Hill, and I was like, whoa, this is intense. And like, I remember that being one of the later things I got to, and then I remember going to town and trying to get people to talk to me and stuff.
Okay. So I didn't get like a ton further than you guys, other than like I just worked on my graveyard a lot.
I put that off for so long, and I realized I wasn't going to be able to progress until I opened the church, so I went back and did that. But I spent you could call me a graveyard keeper. I felt more like a woodcutter for a long time.
when you went into the basement, did you get the little cutscene with the bald, shady-looking guy?
Snake, yeah, I saw Snake.
Snake. Okay, so him. Once you clear the path and get to him, I don't remember what the hell I had to get enough of the faith point things.
I haven't done that yet.
To convince him, hey, I'm cool, right? So he walks you down that hallway, and you're like, well, there's something I need over here anyway. So you kind of walk over, and he goes over to his door and starts checking out this door. Well, you see a torture room, and you're like, yeah, that's where I need to go. So you walk in there, and there's this like obvious grate right in the middle of the doorway with flames underneath it. And your dude just steps on it like he's not going to get burned to death. And what happens? He gets burned to death. And he drops dead, and then you wake up in your bed. So then you go back to the basement, make your way back over there, and Snake's like, what the fuck? I knew there was something weird about you. And he's like, so you're immortal, huh? I hate you. I absolutely hate you. He's like, that's stupid. You end up here, you get given a graveyard, and you're immortal? You suck. But you could be some use to me. I need to go explore this fucking big cavern down here in this doorway, and I can die, but you can't. So if you go down there and you die, you'll just respawn. So I'm gonna send you down there to do shit for me. So that's basically like there's a dungeon now.
Is it like the cavern, the mining in Stardew?
That's what I'm assuming. Is it's gonna be like
cool,
that?
cool.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
See, it's stuff like that I didn't get to that made me think that maybe if I would have stuck with it a little bit longer, I might have gotten to stuff that was more fun for me. I just remember by the end of the time streaming that I was kind of like, kind of meh on this at the moment.
Oh, it definitely, like, one of my notes for this game is it's tedious.
It unfolds very slowly.
It is it comes at you slow because there's certain things you can only do on certain days, which takes in-game time.
Which is driving me crazy as well. And I feel like this is definitely the kind of game for the person who likes that pacing, like wants to take it easy and relax and play a game. That's something that I kind of struggle with, is like games that want you to take it slow.
Yeah, I was overthinking stuff a lot early on too, and I think that was one of the big problems you had too, was just like, you get so many missions, you're like, well, I don't know what to do. Instead of just going, okay, I'm just going to do this one thing. I need red. All right, I need to open this up, so I need wood, and I don't have enough wood, so I need the technology to get the wood, and then I'm going to just chop a bunch of bushes down until I have that. Then I'll progress down that hill. Like, it's very much you pick your goal and orient yourself at it instead of trying to do everything all at once.
That is exactly what it is. Like, okay, what am I going to do today? Because again, I like Phasmophobia. I don't know if your dude's a smoker or what, but you swing your sword, like, you go kill like 4 or 5 slimes. Yes, this game has slimes as enemies, and I fucking love it. And you're like almost halfway, if not a little more than halfway tired from swinging your sword for like the whole day's energy. And it's like, dog. Now, I did end up building the Zen garden.
The what now?
So like where your cabin's at, a little to the northwest, there's like a little wooden sign by some trees, and it's just like a little caution sign. If you go and click on that, it says
build stone garden.
So like once I started gathering stone and shit, I built that, and dude, it's literally just like a little Zen garden with sand and stuff, like you would do the rake like they do, and you can meditate there. And I think that helps bring back some of your resting without going to sleep.
Nice.
I think
you can sleep whenever you want to, though. It's not like you sleep through the night. You can just wake up. So, like, I didn't have any problem. Like, my character was not on like a 24-hour cycle whatsoever.
No. I did most of my graveyard stuff at night.
Weirdly, so did I.
I felt like it was fitting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, God, you never see a grave digger digging a grave in the middle of the day.
I infrequently see a grave digger doing anything.
That's fair. I've been to plenty of graveyards, never see a grave digger.
You live directly across from a graveyard.
I don't watch them. I kind of expect everyone to stay still.
Oh, man, it just makes me think of that old the dad joke reference, like bring it around to the Discord, where it's like, oh yeah, graveyard, people are dying to get in there. Ain't no bones about it. Insert new Nate emote.
That emote's great, by the way. Big fan.
Yeah, me too. It makes me giggle. But the current, I'll say, like, the currency in this game is a little rough. Like, there's like no hand holding. You know what I mean? It's like they don't give you really like a starting buffer or anything like that. They're like, go make your fucking earning.
you're constantly resource starved in the early game. That's for sure. Like, I never felt like I had enough of almost anything I wanted to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was also frustrating for me when I was getting started in the game as well. I was like, I want to do this. I can't do this. I want to do this. I can't do this either.
So I almost feel like, and I might do this, I almost feel like I want to activate a trainer for this game and give myself enough of those little skill point thingies to max out all of my tech trees, as you want to call it. Because that's quite a, like, you get these... they look like
There's 3
rupees.
different flavors of experience point, basically. There's red points, green points, and blue points.
Yeah, and I believe red's from crafting, green's from
red's
gathering.
Physical label, green is from nature, and blue, I think, is from religion.
Yeah. And they're not the easiest things to come by. I mean, at least not the religion ones yet.
I haven't figured out a reliable way to get it at the point I'm at, but to be honest, I only have about 3 or 4 hours, too.
But... I just want to, like, you use those to go through your tech trees and unlock, like, new things that you can do. But I almost wonder if I went through and unlocked all of that so I could just do whatever I wanted when I got the resources for it, if it would take away that crutch. And I almost wonder if, like, maybe just make it where you don't have an energy bar. But...
See, I feel like that would be the better choice. Because, like, I feel like in this kind of game, one of the reasons that, like, tech tree exists is so you do things that need to be done before the next thing. Like, it shows you what your near future goals are. And I don't think I would want to obviate that.
That's fair. But, like, we're just running out of energy in the middle of doing something is really annoying.
At least you can eat apples and berries and shit.
Yeah, or drink those potions, but, like, they're not cheap.
I already used up my potions.
Yeah. Yeah, same here.
I don't even remember where I got them. I just, like, one day I'm like, I'm on 0 energy. These will cure 50 each. Glug glug. Chug these 2 Red Bulls and get back to work.
I think we touched on it a little bit, but, like, how did y'all feel about, like, the overall writing? I think it's pretty good.
This is a up and down thing. I think that the characters are really fun. I really enjoyed the beginning of the game where you're constantly talking to villagers. And once I got off on my own, I was just kind of missing all the, like, because, like, you just walk up to people and your options are just trade, leave. And I'm like, I miss talking to these people, man. Everyone was introduced in really charming and fun ways, and it gets kind of lonely afterwards, which I guess makes sense. Graveyard Keeper is a pretty lonely job by default, but I don't know. I enjoyed the characters. Like, Jerry and the donkey especially are, like, my favorites.
Yeah, I definitely think the game was very well written, and that when you do meet the characters, they are super interesting at first. But I don't think I got far enough in to where I was getting that situation where I was talking to people and not having any real conversations. So I could see it definitely being kind of a bummer getting to that point while playing the game.
I want to say, too, that for being done by Russian developers, I saw little to no translation issues.
Yeah, there were only a couple issues with the localization. They seemed more typographical than anything, like just the word A missing in a sentence, or I saw one where a C escape character is a little /T that was just left in because they escaped it wrong or something. But, like, that was, like, it. Like, it wasn't, like, there wasn't a lot of ungrammatical sentences or anything. Like, the localization was, the character voices came through really strongly. Like, they clearly, got professionals to do it, or at least didn't just have the translator go through Google, or the programmer go through Google Translate and call it good enough,
Yeah. Grand Theft Auto Remastered Trilogy. Looking at you.
Oh, you want to know one of my favorite stories about a game using Translate incorrectly when they did localizations for other countries? I don't know. Go ahead, say it.
All your base are belong to us? Is that where you're going to go?
That's a good one, but I think you guys, this is a less well-publicized story. And I don't remember what the game that did this is, but I think y'all will like this. So there was a game, I think it was like a shooter or something like that, and they wanted to translate it into a bunch of languages, and they just automated the translation. And one of the things, that was like, when you shot at something, there would be a little screen that says, miss. So they translated it using the machine, and when it got translated to German, the word for miss was Fraulein.
I remember that, because they remastered or remade that game or whatever, and they left that in because people...
That's great.
Fuck, what was it, though?
I don't know what game it is, but, like, that's also kind of common, is to keep your funniest mistakes. Like, the You Spoony Bard line appears in a bunch of FF4 remakes. There's a phrase that was used in a game translated into Japanese that means insert coin, but it sounds hilarious in Japanese. And so it's, like, used in a bunch of games as a pop culture reference, like it's their equivalent to, like, all your base belong to us.
Oh, it's Grandia.
Grandia, okay.
Grandia 2, the word miss when attacking was translated to Fraulein.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
It means miss, but it's the wrong miss, right?
Yeah, that's fucking wonderful. I love little shit like that. Like when people find things like that in games, it's like that, dude. That's awesome.
Die Fraulein Tickler.
The Fraulein Tickler. Oh
Game
my
Buds in
god!
Game Buds in the room. Y'all know it. Everyone else never finds out. We don't explain that one. It is top secret.
No, we don't. But goddamn, was that funny? I don't know why I was. We were all in tears.
Yeah,
that whole
night
night.
Was maybe the funniest answer ever. Oh my god. Let's see. But yeah, I was definitely going to single out the writing as being really like, I don't know, like I loved the characterization a lot. Like the fact that the game gave me a beer drinking, talking, sarcastic, amnesiac skull, and it wasn't my favorite character, means you've done some good character work in this game.
Yeah, I love that skull's like, bring me a beer, and I'm sitting there to myself thinking, like, as you know, me, I'm like, what the fuck you gonna do with a beer? Yeah, you have nowhere for it to go. You're gonna pour it in your jaw. It's just gonna fall on the floor. It
reminded me of the wine drinking skeletons from the movie The Last Unicorn animated movie.
Oh wow, yeah, I haven't thought about that in a long time. That was such a good movie. Scared the hell out of me when I was a little kid, but it was such a good movie.
Dude, the Red Bull freaked my ass out too. It was definitely one of the hide behind the covers movies when I was a kid that I guarantee if I go back and watch it, I won't remember why.
So, in the dungeon area where I found that, where I died in a little spot I was telling you about that burned up, to the left of that, there is a place that's locked. It's like, I don't have a key for it. But there is a shackled zombie.
Oh, the skull told me not to let that guy go if I ever find him.
His name is Gunter.
Gunter!
According to this NPC from the wiki. But, so, Breaking Dead, that free DLC that they gave away for the game, actually added a thing where you can reanimate corpses and then make them do things for you. So like you can have them go work the fucking fields and shit. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool.
I bet the donkey won't like that one bit.
Oh god, I would love to see what the donkey said about that. You just can't let them rest in peace, huh? You got to work them after they're dead. You are a capitalist, fucker. Oh man, I honestly, guys, I don't know what else to say about this game other than like, I enjoyed it. It is a very specific type of game for a very specific type of player. But like, I don't
even know if it's for a specific type of player. I think it's a specific type of mood you have to be in.
That's fair.
That's one of the reasons it took me until today to even do much of it. It was just, I didn't know I was ready to jump into it. 'Cause it feels like the kind of game where you kind of want to go, oh, I'll just play this game for 12 hours.
Yeah, I feel that. My buddy Monty, who I think had 1,200, 1,600 hours into Stardew Valley.
Wow.
Jeepers.
I definitely told him about this game. And was like, you should check this out because it's Stardew Valley, but you run a graveyard. And he's like, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, I think that was one of my initial reasons why I picked up this game even before ever we were deciding to play it for the show, is because I've always kind of been curious about games like Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing and stuff like that. And I wanted to see if there was something for me, and this felt like more of the environment that I would enjoy playing that kind of game in.
Yeah,
makes sense.
That's fair. I want to know if this game goes quite as in depth as Stardew Valley does with some of the, like in Stardew Valley, you can get married. You develop each town person has a little quest with them. You can either bring in the world equivalent of Walmart or help save the small businesses and little things like that. So I'm curious what else is hidden in Graveyard Keeper that I haven't got to.
It'd be interesting to see the relationship aspect of it, considering that the whole story is you're trying to get back to your wife.
Yeah, but I mean, you kind of need, that's the thing, is you're using these people, I think. You're trying to get at what they have so you can get back home, which I think that's fun. It adds a little more comedy. Everything is a little darker. It's a little, the relationships are necessarily shallow. You want them to like you. That doesn't mean you necessarily like them back.
Yeah. Also,
and I did look a couple of the wiki pages just because I was looking individual things up while I was playing, and it looked like a lot of the characters have really long quest lines. So, I do think that there is a lot of depth and time and you can put in this game. I didn't know how long to beat it, which is I'm actually going to do right now.
While you're doing that, this game does have fishing, which I unlocked but haven't done yet, and I do want to check it out because if anybody knows, I love fishing.
That was one of the things
that
I
seems
spent
about right.
way too long trying to figure out how to unlock when I saw that it was a thing in the game, just to realize that I am nowhere near capable of unlocking it at the point where I was in the game.
Yeah, you need moths, and to get moths, you need insect keeping, and that requires blue experience, which we didn't know how to get at that point. I did look it up, and this number does not surprise me, but it definitely says we've only barely scratched the surface. The how long to beat average is 45.5 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a full-length game. This isn't just a cute, bite-sized parody of Stardew Valley.
What's the completionist time on it, do you know?
Completionist is 67.5.
See, personally, for me, like you said, the game's a mood, and it's not a mood that I think I will find myself in too often. For a game that long, my money's better spent playing a JRPG.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm in that boat too, but I mean, there are some times where I'm just like, I just want something that I can half pay attention to while I'm sitting here watching YouTube.
That's Ultimate Fishing Simulator, baby.
Yeah, that too.
And for me, that would be like modded Minecraft. Like, the problem is, I was spending this game thinking, like, this kind of reminds me of playing, like, you know, the Tech It pack or whatever, and getting all my machines to feed to other machines so I can get better technologies. I kind of wish I was playing that. Which, it doesn't mean this game is bad. It's been really good so far, and I probably will get back to it. But it isn't necessarily great when a game makes you think of similar experiences and then doesn't scratch the itch well enough that you don't go, but I'm playing this and I'm having fun instead. It makes you go, kind of wants to play that afterwards.
Kind of like what Grim Dawn could do to people and make them want to go play Diablo 3.
As you've heard, yes.
Grim. Hi, Grim.
Hi, Grim.
This game, I would say that, yeah, it made me want to go and dip my toe back into Stardew Valley. Only because, like, Stardew Valley has a mod where you can replace your horses with chocobos.
Nice.
And it's just fantastic. Oh, man. Well, if I had to give this a rating, I would say that this is a solid game. It's not perfect, but, like, it's also not shitty. So I'd give it like a 7.5 bodies hit the floor out of 10.
Oh!
So 1, 2, 3, nothing wrong with me. 4, nothing wrong with me. 5, nothing wrong with me. 6, 7.5, nothing wrong with me. Something's got to give.
Oh, God. I feel weird about giving this game a rating, to be honest, because I just don't feel like it's really for me. You know what I mean? There's some things out there that I don't think are for specific people, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that necessarily. So I think for the first time, I'm going to abstain in giving a ranking for this game because I don't think I can fairly assess it.
I think that is
reasonable.
Yeah, that's fair.
Nate leaves an empty grave. I guess I don't feel like after reading that I've only played 10% of the game, and being that it is that much of a plot and, you know, task-focused game, like, I get the feeling that I know about how much I would like playing it, but I don't know if I'm ever going to play all of it, and there's a lot of opportunity for it to still surprise me, and there's a lot of opportunity for it to still run cold. So I feel like if I give the game like a 7.5, keep in mind I'm literally giving it 2 points on either side as a margin of error. So I'll bury it 7.5 feet under, but it could be a shallower or deeper grave. I'm just not all the way digging it yet.
Yeah, and I can actually agree with that. Yeah, because like I said, it has enough that I'm curious to see it through. I'm just in no rush to see it through.
That's it. There's a lot I really like about this game, but I just want to be in the headspace to play it, and unfortunately, have to play game for a podcast is maybe not the intended method by which this game is meant to be consumed.
No, not at all.
Like,
and that's gonna be the same.
It's a good game, but it's not a game I want to do homework on.
It's gonna be the same thing when games come up like Stardew Valley or like Rune Factory 4, where they're more.
Oh, is Rune Factory on the list? Neat.
Yeah, Rune Factory 4 Special came out for PC the other day, and
nice.
It was on sale when I had some money, so I just snagged it.
I'm excited to try that series. I've never played a Rune Factory game before, but I feel like I would like it.
Me neither, but I've always heard that it's Harvest Moon with like magic and fantasy elements, and I'm like, fuck yeah, give it to me. So it's a port. It's like a remastered port of a 3DS game. So take with that what you will. Like, it's not going to be like amazing. I loaded it up. It's not amazingly graphically or anything like that, but it seems quaint so far. But anyway, it just, when those games come up, like, I don't think we should like strive to beat them. Let's just get our feel about it. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of
get a compare and contrast going. This is just our first Stardew like game.
Yeah.
Also, I want to say, I feel like if you have played one of these games, you probably got enough information from this to know if you're going to like it or not. You know, like, I don't think that, like, there's probably surprises and cool stuff that happens deeper into the game, and maybe even the tone changes. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it takes a turn for the serious at some point, but not too serious, because the DLC and stuff has funny names and stuff, so I suspect that sense of humor pervades throughout. I suspect that the slow, steady, and task-focused progress pervades throughout, and I think that, I don't know, like, I think one day you'll wake up and go, yeah, I'm in the mood for a couple hours of just having achievable, measurable things to do.
Yeah. And I hate to keep going back to this, but it's just like, yeah, if you want more dark humor in your Stardew Valley, this is a good choice, because there's plenty of dark humor in this game. and puns. And I love puns. But yeah.
And there's farming, so, you know.
Yeah, and there's farming.
This game has farming. Stardew Valley does not have graveyard keeping. What now?
That's fair. All right, well then, let's get to some house cleaning. I want to give a shout out to all of our Patreon listeners with a extra special thank you to Nate Sir Cogsworth of the 7th of Juniper, Jeff the Original Expendable Old Jeffy Lube himself, and Eraser Adam. Thank you guys very, very much.
Thanks for keeping the lights on.
Yeah, we got one candle burning up here in our little loft in the church. And it's keeping us going. Eventually we'll be able to craft more candles, but for now we just have the one.
We need different experience points to craft candles for some reason.
Let's see, the bit.ly/TSMP Discord, all capital letters. If you want to come join the Discord, we would love to have you.
Vote on the new game.
Yeah, and come vote on the new poll, which is a doozy of a toozy.
There are definitely some, there are good meme choices, there are good serious choices, there are good meme serious choices. Like, I don't know what to vote for. I've been looking at this like, that would be fun, that would be funny, that would be a good episode. Don't know much about this game, like to learn more, like just lots of different, it's quite a tasting menu.
Yeah, we've got Hitman 2, which is not the original Hitman 2, but the reboot series. Which is tremendous. I was actually playing it last night, so it's like steamy fucking nose. Then we have Shadow Blade Reload, which is a game that I've shown you guys, and Nate, I think you own it. I think actually I might have bought it for both of you guys when it was $1. Like, you're the little ninja. It's the 2D platformer.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that's one of them. Then we have Phantasmagoria 2, A Puzzle of Flesh.
This has been streamed on Tadpog before. It was definitely an amusing. It's a full motion video adventure game with horror. Well, no, it's a horror game with adventure game elements, kind of.
Yeah, shout out Tadpog, Taiwan Dave Play Old Games. Dave streamed that on Twitch. And then we have a Plague Tale Innocence, which shout out to Factory Sealed Retro Video Game Podcast, because every single person on that show raved about how good a Plague Tale Innocence is. And like me and Fenris in the Discord were talking earlier, like, if you look up reviews and stuff, like, everyone loved A Plague Tale Innocence, and it was like this hidden gem that didn't get enough attention. So that could be interesting. But to wrap it all up is Euro Truck Simulator 1.
Honk.
And the poll is tied right now as of recording, with Plague Tale and Euro Truck Simulator being tied.
You love to see it. I still don't know what I'm voting for yet.
I voted for Hitman, but if it's not going to win and it comes down to two choices, I will make my choice between those two, because I'm up for any of these games.
I voted for the ninja game.
Yeah.
Did you?
I'm already down to party no matter what it is.
Dude, yeah. Shadowblade Reload is... I'm not the biggest platformer guy, but that game is fucking fun. And it's level based, so it's not like a Metroidvania or anything. And it's definitely one where it's like, okay, I beat that level, but I didn't get 3 stars. I can definitely get 3 ninja stars if I do it again.
You know how much that appeals to me individually.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like I want all of that shit. And then I think there's a speed run mode.
Nate's just making faces, man. He's like, I would have voted for it.
Right.
Nate's camera just lifted a bit. Oh man, but yeah. Other than that, you can come check out the website, which I thought had a catastrophic meltdown the other day,
poor thing.
But it didn't.
You were having such a time with that. Like I thought you were gonna have a full-on meltdown about that one.
Oh, dude, I went. Go ahead.
He tried so hard to fix it. He was like, "Does it have version control? Like the blog is on Git or something like that." Like he was like, he was so afraid that you were going to like freak the fuck out and spend the rest of like the week working on it without sleep.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
I can tell. You didn't say that stuff out loud. I can tell when you're thinking like that.
I went through half a can of dip, just put in a dip till it got like gross, and I'll throw it out, put another one in because I'm just like, oh my god, I can't. I'd have been chain smoking cigarettes if I'd had cigarettes. You know, I'm just trying to figure it out, just annoyed. But luckily, I was able because like so. It real quick. It all started with Anchor. We use Anchor to upload the episodes, and they put this big fucking Spotify Wrapped banner over connect your episode to WordPress, which used to be I could click that button and it would do everything for me. I would hit publish and boom, it was on WordPress ready to go. Well, they put that big banner over that button so I can't press it until that banner is gone. If it'll ever go away, it doesn't seem like it's ever going to fucking go away. I've looked at my Spotify Wrapped 20 times now. But
seriously, install AdBlock and just right click and block that element, even though it's not an ad. Just use it to get rid of annoying elements. That's what I mainly use AdBlock for.
I have AdBlock. I didn't know I could do that though, so I will definitely check that out. So there is a way, like when you go to upload an episode, it asks you if you want to go ahead and connect this post to WordPress, right? But it tries to connect to the last episode you did. So when I tried to post up Grim Dawn, it tried to create a whole new website for some reason. So Grim Dawn and all of our episodes got uploaded to this website that was called like the Steam Machine Podcast 8256741.wordpress.com. And I'm like, no, what the fuck? What the fuck? And
Richard,
I ended up I figured out how to delete that. And I was really, really worried that I was going to accidentally delete our actual page, but I didn't. And then I went in and I figured out how to embed the episodes, which that was the big issue, was I couldn't figure out how to get the episode into the post. But I figured out how to take their podcast player that they put in and make it only show one episode and be nice and clean. And holy shit, it took me hours, but I figured it out and it all was good with the world now. I know how to do it, so I'm never going to rely on that fucking connect to WordPress button again. I'm just going to do it my goddamn self.
Weren't you trying to do it with iframes, and it turns out WordPress only lets you have iframes if you have a paid account?
Yes. Yeah, it was like, yeah, this doesn't work because you don't pay us money. I'm like, what? What? I can't use that code?
Iframe is a fairly dangerous HTML tag. I could understand them not wanting people to open up free websites and iframe a bunch of dangerous redirect shit.
That's fair. That's fair, because you don't want people to, like, but I'm not, like, I don't know. I know they have no way of telling that I'm not, like, here to fish anybody. I just want to put my fucking podcast episode up. But yeah, the way it works now is the way that it's been. So now I know how to do that, like I said, by myself, and it's all good. So anyway, all of that to say, bit.ly/the Steam Machine Podcast, phonetically capitalized, and it is, it's there in all its glory. You can go see how bad I am at web design, but it's there and it works.
Recap the contests again too, just to make sure that we got that out there.
Oh, yes. Good fucking idea. And also, please, if you would, send us an email to the Steam Machine Podcast at gmail.com. And for next week's year in review episode, give us your best memories of the show, your best quotes, your worst memories of the show. Do you have an episode you absolutely fucking hate? Let us know.
Was this episode playing when you got broken up with? Tell us. We will PayPal you $5. We won't PayPal you. We don't have $5.
Have you fucked anyone while listening to us? I would like to know. Have you been driving in the car and seen a deer riding an elephant? I don't know. Anything that you want to tell us about with the show, messages.
Honestly, just tell us if you've seen a deer. That's awesome by itself. Shoot. I get stoked when I see some wildlife, man. I'll see a turtle and I'll make your whole damn day.
Right? And then if you see a bear, you're like, damn. And then if you see a man, you're like, Nate. But anyway,
so there's the memories, and that's entry for one of the giveaways, right? For the
Just Cause 3. Yeah, Just Cause 3.
And then for
Neptunia, just send us a semi-descriptive of what we would be like in your JRPG game party. Like if we were embodied into a JRPG, what kind of characters would we be? And have fun with it. Like, don't worry, at least me, don't worry about offending me. Like, you want to make me the fat guy from Dynasty Warriors with the big ball. That's cool. I don't care. You know what I mean? It doesn't bother me a bit. So, like, yeah, have at it. I am very intrigued to hear what your entries will be, and that will get you entered in a random drawing for the Neptunia Rebirth 1, 2, and 3. Courtesy of Aris or Adam.
Thank you, Aaron. I said Aaron. I combined them. It's not Ares and Adam.
Aaron.
Aram.
Let's start calling him Harem. He's just got to have a bunch of girls following him around.
Forbidden. Oh. Different harem.
Oh man, but yeah. Other than that, gentlemen, I think that about wraps it up. Oh, I mean, if you want to go get an awesome ass shirt with our logos on it, you can check out tsmpproductions.threadless.com. That would be really cool. And my recommendations this week: go listen to Tadpog and Factory Sealed. It's 2 great podcasts. You guys have anything that you'd like to say here at the end of the show, my good fellows?
Yeah, as always, go follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and TikTok at TurtleBearMan.
Oh, dude, that TikTok. You've been on fire with some of those lately. They've been really cracking me up when I wake up and watch them when I'm sitting on the toilet. They crack me the fuck up.
You've learned some editing, and it's looking really good. Do I have any plugs? Tonight was the winter solstice when we recorded, so the days are getting warmer. It won't be long till the boys are back in town. That doesn't mean anything. Just it's the every day from now on for like 6 months will be longer days. So enjoy sunlight. It's back.
While I'm thinking about it, Nate, what's your upcoming Twitch schedule? Do you have?
So I don't have a schedule planned out for the next week or so because with the holidays coming up and around, I'm probably just going to be streaming more sporadically, if at all. So I plan on getting back onto it at least at the beginning of the year, but hopefully I'll get to do a few streams between here and the 1st. We'll see what happens.
Okay. Well, listeners, we will keep you posted then. Just keep your eye out, I suppose, in the Discord, which again is bit.ly/TSMP Discord, all capital letters.
I always post notifications when I'm going live in the Discord, so you can definitely find it there.
Yeah. And if you just want to come in and talk to us and tell us that we're pretty.
Please.
I don't know. Anyways, as always, guys, they are the Brothers of Destruction, Nate and Willie, Turtle Bear Man, and Icebrand Studios. I am, I guess, Dalton. That's what you want to.
Forget for a minute?
I was gonna say Steam Machine Dalton, and then I'm like, well, yeah, that works. So I don't know. Sard off and take it easy.